Our own system is definitely a part of it, but it's definitely not the only part. So we use a lot of software systems and a lot of processes and spend a lot of time communicating. And we have employees that stay for us for quite a while, so we don't retrain people the whole time.
Yeah.
I think those are probably the key things. And why are those the key things? Through the communication, we work together better as a team. We find out what things don't work. We actually make time for that. So we have a bi-weekly meeting where we figure out what didn't go well in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What did go well, and then we improve what didn't go well, and we learn from what did go well. We have monthly one-on-ones where every person can also ventilate or share or give feedback. We have daily stand-ups where we say what we did the day before and what we're going to do that day. And if we have meetings, there's a lot of meetings where we don't involve the whole team because that's just wasteful. But we do take time at the end of each meeting then to write down what the rest of the team should know. We call that our announcements, and these announcements go in Slack, which is our team communication platform. It's like Microsoft Teams for people who use Microsoft Teams, but then better and the original, let's say.
I agree.
But that way we share everything that's going on. We have as many discussions as possible in public channels, but most of the things have their place. And we don't run around the whole time like a customer wants this, a customer wants that, or this is. It all goes through processes, and it's all tracked. We have process to prioritize things. We have processes to do certain things, so that we don't have to waste a lot of time. Plus, within everything that we do, most of the things are automated. There's very little things that we like routine things where we lose time. Most things is just different systems automate. A lot of things are connected using Zapier. It's a sort of integration platform. We zap things from here to there all the time, and everything just flows. So we can spend our time building the product. That's what about half the team does. And connecting with customers, which is what about the other half of the team does.
Got it.
My mom really likes routines, really likes to keep things structured. So our table was part of a half meeting room table they once got somewhere. The other half we had somewhere else in the house.
Okay.
It was this I don't know what material. Well, they got it way back. They don't have it anymore now. It was an extremely heavy table. And then you had a tablecloth over it. And then I think we would have usually a very standard Belgian dish, like some meat, some potatoes, and some vegetables. And before that, we would even mostly have a soup as well. So we were really nice and stuffed. And often as kids also afterwards, we had a dessert. I would get myself a chocolate mousse or something. We had this from the supermarket. My mom wouldn't make the chocolate mousse, but the rest she would make.
And how many siblings did you have?
I'm the older brother of two. So I have a younger brother who's like 2 years younger, and I have a younger sister which is 9 years younger.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, did you have any entrepreneurial type tendencies or anything that you were doing at a young age? You know, a lot of people sell candy or baseball cards or anything like that. Did you have any of those types of things?
I really hated selling, obviously. Honestly, I liked creating stuff. So I always liked at the drawing classes. I liked singing is another way of creating. I liked building camps in the woods. I liked creating sticks. I would make a sharp point on them so they become spears and stuff like that. I liked playing with Lego. We also had Knicks at some point. I don't know if you know that. It's kind of things you click together. We also had Kapla. This is kind of little blocks with which you can make stuff.
Okay.
And also all kinds of, I don't know how to say in English, bricolage or so. Like you create stuff out of paper or plastic or whatever, all
Very
kinds of
cool.
stuff. I think my first selling experience though was when I was 15, 16 or so. At the same time, I also started building websites. There was
Mhm,
sort of two things in parallel. I discovered the joy of building websites.
mhm.
And that was really also, again, creating stuff for other people. But also, I was really excited about creating a business selling secondhand cell phones. I would usually get them in Germany or in the UK.
Okay.
They would ship them to Belgium. I would like snipe deals on eBay,
Yeah.
and then I would sell them to people on secondhand websites in Belgium,
Wow.
and make a nice profit. I would buy cheap and sell high.
Yeah. And how old were you when you started doing that?
I think 16 or so.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot better than selling candy from a backpack. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, the margins weren't. I mean, let's say the volumes weren't big. The
Yeah.
margins were good.
Yeah.
But the volumes were rather small. And also often I was really excited by cell phones. So often also when I would get a nice one, I would stick to my hands. I would sell my old one,
Yeah.
which is something I still continue to this day. I never, well, almost never buy a new cell phone. I usually buy a secondhand one and then sell my old one.
Yeah.
And that way I don't pay the price to upgrade cell phones.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I hate buying cell phones. I actually just had to buy one a few weeks ago. My old one died. So, you get stuck in that situation every now and then.
Yeah, at that point it's hard to go with a secondhand one, because for
Exactly.
those
Exactly.
then you want to wait for a good deal. And
Yep. Yep. So did you do college too? Did you go to college and all of that, or did you jump
yeah,
into, okay,
no,
so,
I did go to what we call it university here.
mhm,
So I went and I studied engineering. At first I thought about computer engineering. Then when I went to the open day, it seemed a bit out of this world, like all the things they were displaying and the people that were displaying those, it it didn't seem too appealing to me. I
okay,
ended up doing electrical engineering,
okay.
and then specialized in biomedical engineering from there in my
Oh, wow.
master's, um, because that was just the most exciting thing to study in a way. I had a very broad um, series of courses I could follow, with a lot of medical courses as well. And secondly, it felt like it was just the most interesting way to make an impact on the world. But then when I went applying for jobs, I figured out I didn't really want an engineering job.
Yeah.
I still want to do something with people. I didn't see myself being in a back room creating something. I wanted to
Mhm.
create something with people. I asked for these things in interviews, but nobody wanted to give me a job like that. So what I ended up doing is studying another year at business school, and my first job was actually in marketing.
Okay.
So
Okay. Very cool.
totally
Very cool.
different.
Yeah. So big difference there. So obviously that probably gave you, some of the insights and some of the direction that you use to be able to grow your company, so quickly, right? I mean, that obviously marketing is kind of the foundation to launching things. So would you agree with that?
Marketing is definitely very important. I think there's a few things you have to be good at to start a company. At first, it's delivering. It's actually mostly about selling, you could say.
Hmm.
It's about finding out what people need, why they need them, who needs it the most,
Hmm.
really listening to them, finding out like can we deliver it to them in such a way that it's most frictionless. What do we still need to solve to make that all easier? And that's a whole process. I think marketing is just the extension of that in the end. It's trying to scale that. It's a different discipline in a way, because It involves some different channels, and it also a whole other level of abstraction. But yeah, no, it's definitely an important skill, but I think sales comes first. And then on the other hand, knowing how to build the thing you want to build or deliver the service you want to deliver, but the specific one you're looking at. And of course, if you're not good at one of the two, you can find a co-founder who does the other one really well. So that it's not if you're not good at both, that you can't do it. So.
So obviously, we haven't talked about your product yet that terribly much, but you're the CEO of Salesflare, which is a CRM company. And I think what really attracted me to your story is, typically you get these large teams that are put together, right? And everyone has, their roles and their things that they're doing. You guys are very, very successful, but you have a very, very small team as well. How did you, I mean, there's all kinds of questions here, but I'm curious, how did you organize the team in a way that you were able to run so lean and accomplish so much so quickly? Does that kind of make sense? And I know that that's a really, really large question, but I'm just curious, like, do you guys have, any specific types of management styles, or I guess maybe you're even using your own system to be able to communicate, the different tasks together. But what, like, how did you arrange that? How did you pull that off using such a small team?
Our own system is definitely a part of it, but it's definitely not the only part. So we use a lot of software systems and a lot of processes, and spend a lot of time communicating. And we have employees that stay for us for quite a while, so we don't retrain people the whole time. I think those are probably the key things. And why are those the key things? Through the communication, we work together better as a team. We find out what things don't work. We actually make time for that. So we have a bi-weekly meeting where we figure out what didn't go well in the past 2 weeks. What did go well, and then we improve what didn't go well, and we learn from what did go well. We have monthly one-on-ones where every person can also ventilate or share or give feedback. We have daily stand-ups where we say what we did the day before and what we're going to do that day. And if we have meetings, there's a lot of meetings where we don't involve the whole team because that's just wasteful. But we do take time at the end of each meeting then to write down what the rest of the team should know. We call that our announcements, and these announcements go in Slack, which is our team communication platform. It's like Microsoft Teams for people who use Microsoft Teams, but then better and the original, let's say.
I agree.
But that way we share everything that's going on. We have as many discussions as possible in public channels, but most of the things have their place, and we don't run around the whole time like a customer wants this, a customer wants that, or this is. It's all goes through processes, and it's all tracked. We have process to prioritize things. We have processes to do certain things, so that we don't have to waste a lot of time. Plus, within everything that we do, most of the things are automated. There's very little things that we like routine things where we lose time. Most things is just different systems automate. A lot of things are connected using Zapier. It's a sort of integration platform. We zap things from here to there all the time. And everything just flows. So we can spend our time building the product. That's what about half the team does. And connecting with customers, which is what about the other half of the team does.
Got it. So it sounds like you're basically running sort of your own form of Scrum, that's Would you agree with that? Is that what you're basically?
We use Scrum very actively in the development team, and actually we use some of the concepts also in the business team.
Yeah, yeah. And when you guys first started this, again, you've gotten some pretty good publications and into Product Hunt and all of that. Obviously those are big milestones. But when you guys first started all of this, how did you go about getting your first customers? How did you sort of launch and actually, I guess two questions there. How did you know when you had something that was I don't want to say your MVP, but you were able to move forward with something and actually show someone, and then that person would want to go ahead and purchase or buy in or start using the program. Do you have any insights into how you identify that and how you identify those initial first customers?
We got our first customers from two places, I would say. One was PR. We were quite naive back then, thinking that if we would get in the press and people would know us, that everything would happen just like that. So we spent a lot of time trying to get in the press. Now it did work because we did get, I think of our first 30 customers, probably 10 or so came from PR.
Okay.
Them reading, like we have a newspaper in Belgium, the Tijd, which is like the Times. It's like the Financial Times of Belgium. We got in that a few times, I think 6-7 times by now or so.
Yeah.
We got into a bunch of other publications. Our first customer came from marketingfacts.nl, like a Dutch blog about marketing. And then secondly, actually our more important channel was through our own network. That's partially our personal network. And another part was because we joined an incubator and 2 accelerators actually. In those we managed to connect with a lot of people and get customers. Now, very early on, we didn't do marketing. I mean, we had a site, but I didn't want to spend my time writing blog posts and all those kind of things. I knew that was going to take a lot of time, and it wasn't really our focus at that moment. We had to find leads, chase them, do demos, set people up, support them, make sure that somebody used it, get feedback from them. And we spent a lot of time on that in the beginning. Actually, I did all that from start to end while the development team was developing. And that's how we managed to step by step learn all of the different things, like who are the best customers, what do they care about, why, what's their context, what blocks them from using our software, what happens when they sign up, which little things go wrong that we have to solve, how can we make the whole flow easier, what are sort of the steps we need to guide them through the setup. And all of these things, I'm forgetting a lot of things. All of these things we automated step by step, but it's only by going through it manually first and really being there and really guiding people that we managed to do that in the end. Did I answer your full question?
Yeah,
because I feel that there was a part to it of it that I didn't answer.
Yeah, no. I think that does. When you first went out, did you have an idea who your customer was, or were you pretty well going out and just like anybody who was looking at you, or anybody who inquired, was that kind of the next person, or was there a focus or some type of a method to be able to say, okay, we think that this is the right type of person to go after, or was it again more scattered than that? We did
a sort of we scoped out a market for ourselves. We figured it would well, first actually we went after mid-sized companies and enterprises, because we thought we were building a sales platform that would sync with Salesforce and would would make sure that salespeople would actually use the system and then sync that data to the CRM. That's what we thought was our solution.
Yeah.
We figured out very quickly that big companies don't want another system. They want to fix Salesforce, and the synchronization they don't really trust.
Yeah.
So we always got stuck there. Now then we figured that actually small companies are really looking for something that works, because they really care about, they're very pragmatic. They want something that is going to do the job for them, that is going to make sure that their salespeople can follow up their leads. So we refocused, but then we always knew the type of companies we were going to go after. So we knew that they had to do B2B sales, because we built everything around B2B concepts with the accounts you're selling to at the center and other things around that. We knew that they had to do a lot of email follow-up, not be a sort of field sales companies. We knew that if they had ERP systems, they'd probably not be a great match, because they always want everything in one place, and it just, these ERP systems don't integrate well and all that.
Yeah.
And we knew that probably they had to be a bit more digitally adept, a bit further than most companies, because if it's your first CRM, you don't know yet what the issues are with CRM.
Yeah.
And you don't understand why we're solving those issues. So we mapped out a few types of companies that fit that. Some of those work better than others. I think we have all these types on our software now, but just some of those are way bigger than others. So what you see currently on our software is mostly agencies, which is mostly digital marketing agencies, but also software development companies and some types of advanced consulting companies. And on the other hand, tech companies, a lot of SaaS companies like ourselves, software as a service, and some other tech startups, you could say, and some telcos. Now, I think initially we thought that telecom companies, we would have way more of those.
Yeah.
That was a wrong assumption. It's really the agencies, of which we have a ton.
So the agencies are kind of your main industry focus, I guess you can say at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. How often, when you said that you started, when you guys started, you were doing a lot of the, I guess, the customer feedback and getting all of that information. How were you receiving that? Was that just like through a contact us button, or was there, some type of interactivity that you had maybe built into the platform even, or into the system where, people could send in their feedback about, what they wanted, what they liked, what they didn't like, all of that. How did that feedback work?
We've never done feedback that way, because it just doesn't work. The way we collect feedback is through actual conversations.
Okay.
So that's back then that was me getting on Skype with people. It was just the Skype days. And I would have actual conversations, and they would say, well, it would be nice if this, and this is not really, and then, well, we need this, and and I would write all these things down. Every time somebody said something, I read it down. And in the end, it all goes for us in GitHub. In GitHub, that's where our code lives, and we create issues, and the issues are problem driven. Like, a person cannot do this or so, or this is broken is also a possibility. And we track things. We connect every single thing. Like different people can mention a thing, then it's different comments on the issue.
Yeah.
That is linked up for us right now mostly to Intercom. It's what we use to communicate with existing customers, and that enables us to close the loop, so we can see. It's actually, we have another system now which also connects them in a way, is Acute.
Okay.
And in that system, you can see, if you go to a person, is they asked for these things, and they'd like this to be better. But also on the other level, you can say, okay, this thing, who asked for this? And then if we develop something, we can go back to those people and say, was it this that is it that you're looking for? Then based on that, we can develop the right thing. And then when we develop and we put it live, we can get the right people on the beta, but also when it goes live, we can also ask like, okay, so it's live. What do you think of it? Does
Yeah.
this now actually solve your issue or not? Which makes that we can close the whole feedback loop.
Yeah. I've never heard of that one before. That you said that was called Acute, where it'll basically track each individual person's feedback.
It's actually we track things. We've always tracked things in GitHub with links to intercom conversations, but now Acute also synchronizes these things, and it helps us to have a view per user what they asked, because we always had a view per issue.
Yep.
Who asked and why and what, but now we can also see per person what all the things were that they asked.
Yeah, I really like. I really like that I guess form of customization where, once you build something, these were the group of people that asked for that thing. So then, you can get that immediate feedback. That's brilliant. I really like that a lot. What are you guys, is there anything that you guys are planning, to do next? Anything that you're excited about? Anything that you can talk about that, you guys are looking forward to?
So the last big feature that we added was a custom dashboards. So you can build any report that you like on top of all your sales data in Salesflare. The next big thing that we're launching is an email finder, with which you can find anyone's email address, but that is actually leading up to a LinkedIn sidebar. Okay. Which is a very heavily requested feature, which we've been holding off for very long because, well, we talked with LinkedIn about it for a while and it was complicated. Yeah. But it's going to be a sidebar. So if I look at you in LinkedIn, I'll say, oh, Matt, pass the secret sauce. It says the account, pass the secret sauce. Do you want to add it? It already has information about it. Yeah. I can like create account, and then it says, do you want to add Matt? And then you can also say, and find the email as well for Matt. And that finds the email, and that then links up immediately with emailing, so I can see all your emails and your meetings and the calls, and also add you to an email sequencer. So if I like, so it brings Salesforce much closer to LinkedIn, which so far is a bit disconnected. Yeah, I would agree. That's really, really cool. I'm gonna definitely check this out because we have some other things that we're launching too, and I think that would solve a lot of our own issues as well. What are you looking to get into any other types of verticals or companies, or is there, are you trying to basically expand the reach into other agencies, or any I guess target verticals that you're looking to try to break into? Not really looking to go into other verticals. There's still a lot of room in the verticals we're in. Mm-hmm. Probably focusing a bit on larger ones that helps our revenue, helps support our growth. Sure. Maybe make a different language version at some point. It's only English for now, which then sort of limits the target market. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, no, we're great where we are. Yeah, I love it. Jeroen, if you could give anybody, any place where you wanted to send them to learn more about your product, what would you say is the best way for them to reach out and get in touch? Well, the best place to learn about Salesflare is salesflare.com, and Flare is Flare. You can read about the software there. You can check out our blog with a lot of sales advice or other types of advice like startup advice or agency advice. And you can start a trial of the software also if you like. And if you want to get in touch with me, LinkedIn is probably the best place. There's only one person with my name, so if you find my name somewhere, it should be relatively easy. If you copy the name, probably best because it's a bit difficult to write. Yep. But do send me with the connection request, do send me a personal message, because otherwise I don't know why you're contacting me. I will assume spam. But if you do include that personal message, I also get in touch with you and we can have a chat. Yeah, no, makes perfect sense. And I forgot to mention, you guys are in, you guys made it into Product Hunt too, correct? Yeah, we're if you type CRM at the top of Product Hunt, you'll find us as the first CRM.
What was that like getting into that platform? Was that a challenge, or was it relatively easy, once you got yourself established?
Getting on Product Hunt is easy.
Yeah.
You just need to get hunted. Getting on the top of the first page is relatively hard. It takes well, you need to get a community ready to push you towards close to the top at least, and then other people that find out about you can do the rest. But it's an extremely competitive
yeah, I'm sure
site. It's a very busy day that you launch a Product Hunt.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you mentioned you need that community to be able to push you. Obviously, your methods and the processes that you guys are using to, again, take in that feedback and then relay that feedback to them. I mean, has that helped you grow that community and build that relationship with your users, would you say?
Oh yeah, we I think it's one of our strong points, and it's why we are able to deliver good product and really build relationship with customers and have a low churn and all that on our subscriptions. It's the fact that we are able to build personal relationships and remember what people asked for and all those kind of things at scale, while most of our competitors are really big companies with huge teams that have to scale those teams, and it's very hard for them to do the same at that scale. For them, customers are more like a number. For us, they're real people. We know their names, and even if it's a few thousand, it's very easy to still sort of keep that connection if you're really busy with it all the time.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I love it. And I completely agree. I mean, we, in all of our businesses, we try to establish that same kind of relationship with the users. And, I think that's the best way to be able to do it. You're going to be happier in the end too.
It's one of the main ways you can distinguish yourself as a small company from the big ones.
Yeah.
Because the big ones just can't scale that.
Yep. Yeah, no, I love it. Well, this has been fantastic. I certainly appreciate the time, and you shared some good nuggets here that, like I said, I'm going to check out your software because, again, I think that this is going to be something that would help us with some of the things we're struggling with right now. So again, and congratulations on everything that you guys have done at Salesflare and all the accomplishments. And
thank you.
Looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with next.
Thank you. Happy to help get you onboarded, by the way.
Sounds good.
And the conversation was fun. Thank you.